The pen hovered over a $1.2 billion contract while a room full of executives waited for a signature that would change everything. Ethan Caldwell smiled and said, "Let's not waste time," as if the outcome had already been decided. Olivia Bennett stood 3 feet away with a tray balanced in one hand, watching a deal that did not belong to her unfold in a restaurant where she was expected to be invisible. The private dining room at La Riviere overlooked the Hudson River, all glass walls and low golden light, the kind of place where a steak cost more than her weekly groceries and no one ever asked a waitress what she thought. Ethan leaned back in his chair and glanced at her. "You're new," he said, his tone casual but sharp. Olivia nodded once. "Yes, sir." He studied her for a second longer than necessary, then smiled in a way that invited the table to join him. "Where's that accent from?" he asked, and before she could answer, he repeated one of her earlier words in an exaggerated tone that drew a few quiet laughs from the investors seated around him. Olivia did not react. She set a glass of sparkling water beside his right hand with steady precision. The glass made a soft click against the table. "California," she said evenly. "Mostly." One of the investors chuckled. "Mostly," he repeated, amused. Ethan waved a hand, as if dismissing the moment. "Well, let's hope you understand English better than you speak it," he said, turning back to the contract. "We're about to sign something important." Olivia's eyes dropped to the document for just a fraction of a second. The pages were crisp. The legal formatting was dense. A paragraph halfway down the second page caught her attention. She did not move. She did not interrupt. She simply watched. Across the table, the Middle Eastern investor spoke in calm, measured Arabic, explaining a final adjustment to the agreement. The hired translator nodded along and summarized in English. "Minor equity structuring after 6 months," he said. "Standard flexibility clause." Ethan tapped the pen against the paper. "Fine," he replied. "We expected something like that." Olivia felt something tighten in her chest. The Arabic phrase had been repeated twice. Not for emphasis, for concealment. She shifted her weight slightly and stepped closer under the pretense of refilling a glass. "Sir," she said quietly, her voice controlled, "that clause does not mean what he just said." The table went still. Ethan looked up slowly. "Excuse me," he said. The translator frowned. "She misunderstood," he added quickly. Olivia met Ethan's gaze. "I didn't misunderstand," she said. "I heard it clearly." One of the partners leaned forward. "Do you speak Arabic?" he asked. Olivia did not answer him. She kept her eyes on Ethan. "You're about to give away controlling equity," she said. The words landed harder than anyone expected. Ethan's expression shifted, not to anger, but to something sharper. "That's a serious claim," he said. "And you're a waitress." Olivia placed the water pitcher down. Her hand did not tremble. "Yes," she replied. "And you're about to sign it anyway." A silence spread across the table that no one moved to break. The investor stopped speaking. The translator looked down at the contract as if seeing it for the first time. Ethan tapped the pen once more, slower now. "Read it," he said, sliding the document slightly toward her. Olivia hesitated for the first time. Not from fear, from recognition. The phrasing, the structure, the deliberate ambiguity. She had seen it before, years ago, in a different office, on a different deal that had ended a career she never talked about. She lifted the page and glanced at the clause again. The same pattern, the same trap. Ethan watched her closely. "Well," he said, his voice quieter now, "either you're wrong, or you just saved me $1 billion. Olivia looked up. "Or," she said, "you're about to learn why I don't work in that world anymore." Olivia did not reach for the pen. She reached for the contract instead and turned it slightly so the light from the window hit the fine print. "May I?" she asked, already holding the page between her fingers. Ethan gave a small nod. "Go ahead," he said, his voice measured now. The room shifted. Chairs creaked softly. Someone set down a fork that had not been touched in minutes. Olivia traced a single line with her index finger. "This phrase," she said, switching briefly into Arabic, her pronunciation precise and unhurried, "does not describe flexibility. It describes conversion." The investor's jaw tightened for just a second. It was subtle, almost invisible, but Ethan saw it. "Conversion into what?" Ethan asked. Olivia looked up. "Majority ownership," she said. The translator leaned forward quickly. "That is not accurate," he insisted. "It is a conditional structure. standard in cross-border agreements. Olivia did not argue. She simply slid the contract across the table toward the translator. Then read the second paragraph, she said. Out loud. The translator hesitated. His hand hovered over the page. There is no need, he replied. I already summarized it. Ethan's gaze sharpened. Read it. He repeated, this time with authority that filled the room. The translator cleared his throat and began. His voice was steady at first. Then it slowed. He paused halfway through the sentence. Continue, Ethan said. The translator adjusted his glasses. The clause states that after a 6-month operational period, the equity distribution may be recalibrated to reflect strategic control alignment, he read. Olivia stepped closer. Keep going, she said quietly. The translator swallowed. In accordance with performance benchmarks and capital restructuring provisions. Ethan leaned forward. What benchmarks? He asked. No one answered immediately. Olivia reached into the pocket of her apron and pulled out a small notepad, the kind servers used to jot down orders. She flipped it open and wrote a quick line. Then she turned it toward Ethan. The benchmarks are defined in Appendix C, she said, which is not attached to this version of the contract. Ethan stared at the note. Then he flipped through the pages himself. 1, 2, 3. No appendix. He looked at his legal advisor. Where is Appendix C? He asked. The advisor frowned and began searching through his briefcase. Papers rustled. A folder dropped slightly open. It should be included, the advisor said. It was in the draft we reviewed last week. Olivia folded her arms loosely. Then this is not the same contract, she said. The words landed heavier than anything before. The investor finally spoke again, his tone calm, but firmer now. There have been minor adjustments, he said. Nothing that changes the spirit of the agreement. Ethan's eyes did not leave the pages. You changed a controlling clause and removed an appendix, he said. That changes more than the spirit. One of the partners shifted in his seat. Ethan, he said under his breath, we can pause this. No need to escalate. Ethan raised a hand slightly to silence him. He looked at Olivia again. How did you catch that? He asked. Olivia closed her notepad. Because it is written to look harmless, she replied. And because I have seen it used before. Ethan studied her face. Not her uniform. Not her position. Her eyes. Where? He asked. Olivia held his gaze for a moment longer than was comfortable. In a deal that cost someone everything, she said. The legal advisor finally spoke up. We need to halt signing immediately, he said, until we verify all documents. Ethan nodded once. Then he reached out and placed the pen flat on the table. The soft click echoed louder than expected. Across from him, the investor's expression hardened just enough to reveal the first crack in composure. This delay could affect our timeline, he said. Ethan leaned back. So could losing my company, he replied. The balance of the room had shifted. Subtly, but completely. Olivia stepped back toward the service station as if her role had ended. But Ethan was still watching her. Do not go far, he said. It was not a request. Olivia paused. Just for a second. Then she gave a small nod. As she turned away, one detail caught Ethan's eye. A thin leather folder tucked inside her apron. Not standard issue. Worn at the edges. Used often. He narrowed his gaze slightly. Waitresses did not carry folders like that. And whatever was inside it might explain exactly who Olivia Bennett used to be. Olivia did not return to the kitchen. She stopped at the service station and opened the thin leather folder just enough to slide something out. A single sheet. Cream paper. Folded once. She walked back to the table before anyone called her name. Ethan noticed first. You said do not go far, she said, placing the sheet beside the contract. So I did not. He glanced at the paper. A watermark caught the light. Caldwell Ventures. Old letterhead. Dated 3 years earlier. Where did you get this? He asked. Olivia did not sit. I helped write it, she replied. The legal advisor leaned closer. That is one of our early international drafts, he said. It was never finalized. Olivia nodded. It was replaced, she said, after someone changed the clause. The translator shifted in his chair. The investor's expression remained controlled, but his fingers tapped once against the table. A small tell. Ethan picked up the sheet and scanned it. The structure matched the contract in front of him. The same rhythm, the same legal cadence. One difference. The clause Olivia had pointed out was written differently. Clean. Transparent. No hidden conversion. Who changed it? Ethan asked. Olivia met his eyes. Your team signed the revision without you, she said. The words landed with precision. The partner who had spoken earlier straightened. That is not accurate, he said quickly. All revisions go through executive review. Olivia turned slightly toward him. Then you should recognize the signature block, she said. She tapped the bottom of the page. A name. Initials. Not Ethan's. The legal advisor's face tightened. This cannot be correct, he murmured. Ethan looked from the page to his advisor. Explain that, he said. The advisor hesitated. We process multiple drafts, he replied. Sometimes junior partners handle preliminary approvals. Olivia's voice stayed calm. Preliminary approvals do not rewrite control clauses, she said. A quiet tension spread across the table, the kind that did not need raised voices. Ethan set both documents side by side. His finger moved from one clause to the other. The difference was no longer subtle. It was deliberate. You said you saw this before, Ethan said, looking back at Olivia. Where? Olivia exhaled slowly, not to steady herself, to choose what to reveal. Chicago, she said. 3 years ago. A mid-sized firm. Same structure. Same language. Different names. One of the investors leaned forward. And what happened? He asked. Olivia's gaze did not leave Ethan. They signed it, she said. 6 months later, they did not own their company anymore. The room absorbed that in silence. Ethan's jaw tightened slightly. Not in anger. In calculation. And you were part of that deal? He said. Olivia nodded once. I flagged it, she replied. No one listened. The legal advisor shifted again. If that is true, why are you here? He asked. Why are you serving tables instead of working in finance? Olivia gave a small, almost humorless smile. Because when the deal collapsed, someone needed to take responsibility, she said. And I was the easiest name to remove. Ethan watched her carefully. The pieces were moving into place. Not all of them, but enough. You were saying someone used my company's structure, he said, rewrote it, and almost did it again. Olivia did not answer immediately. She reached into the leather folder and pulled out a second document. Thicker. Stapled. She placed it beside the first. I am saying it is not the first time your name has been used in a deal you did not fully control, she said. Ethan's hand moved toward the document, then stopped. What is that? He asked. Olivia looked at him, her expression steady, her voice even. Proof, she said. The word hung between them. Not dramatic. Not loud. Just final. Ethan picked up the stapled pages and flipped to the first section. His eyes scanned quickly, then slower. Then he stopped. A familiar name appeared in the margin. Not from the investor. Not from Olivia. From inside his own company. He looked up. You brought this with you today, he said. Olivia nodded. I was not planning to use it, she replied. Ethan held her gaze. But now you are, he said. Olivia's answer came without hesitation. Now I have to, she said. And for the first time since the meeting began, Ethan realized the problem in front of him was not just the contract on the table, but the question of how many deals had already been signed the same way without anyone noticing. The room did not move, but everything inside it shifted. Ethan turned the stapled document toward himself and flipped to the second page, then the third, scanning faster now, his confidence replaced by calculation. Where did you get this? He asked, his voice lower, controlled. Olivia did not step back. From someone who thought it was already too late, she said. The legal advisor leaned in again, this time without asking permission. Let me see that, he said. Ethan did not hand it over. Not yet, he replied. His eyes stopped on a highlighted section. A timestamp. A revision log. A digital signature trail printed in small gray text along the margin. He traced it with his finger. This was modified 48 hours ago, he said. The advisor froze. That is not possible, he answered. All final documents are locked before presentation. Olivia reached forward and tapped the same section. Unless someone has override access, she said. The translator shifted in his chair again, but this time no one looked at him. The focus had narrowed. Ethan flipped one more page. A table of internal approvals appeared. Names. Initials. Timestamps. One of them matched the signature on the earlier draft Olivia had shown. The same person. 2 different documents. 2 different outcomes. You signed both versions, Ethan said quietly, without looking up. The legal advisor swallowed. There must be an explanation, he said. There is, Olivia replied. One version protects the company. The other transfers it. The investor leaned back slightly, watching now instead of leading. His role in the room had changed. Ethan finally handed the stapled document to his advisor. "Explain the difference," he said. The advisor flipped through the pages quickly. Too quickly. His fingers skipped lines. His eyes avoided certain sections. "These are preliminary drafts," he insisted. "They do not reflect the final agreement." Olivia stepped closer to the table again. "Then why does the final agreement match the version that gives away control?" she asked. No one answered. Ethan's hand moved to the contract again. He turned to the last page and examined the signature block more carefully. A faint indentation was visible under the printed text, as if another page had once been pressed against it. He lifted the corner slightly. "This was printed on top of something else," he said. Olivia nodded once. "A replacement page," she said. "Same format. Different clause." Ethan looked at the advisor. "Did you swap the page?" he asked. The question was direct. No room to deflect. The advisor shook his head quickly. "Of course not," he said. "That would be a violation of every protocol we have." Olivia reached into her leather folder again. This time she pulled out a small clear sleeve. Inside it was a thin sheet of carbon copy paper. Faint mirrored text was visible across it. She placed it beside the contract. "This was in the folder when I received the document," she said. Ethan leaned in. The mirrored text aligned with the clause on the current contract. But one word stood out. A single term that changed everything. He read it aloud. "Transfer," he said. Then he looked at the printed contract again. The same line now read adjustment. The difference was subtle. The consequence was not. The advisor's face drained of color. "That is not standard procedure," he said, his voice thinner now. Ethan did not respond immediately. He sat back slowly, taking in the table, the documents, the people. Then he looked at Olivia again. "You knew this before you walked in here," he said. Olivia held his gaze. "I suspected it," she replied. "Now I can prove it." The investor finally spoke. Again, his tone measured. "This is a misunderstanding," he said. "We can clarify all terms and proceed." Ethan did not look at him. "No," he said. "We are done proceeding." He stood up. Not abruptly. Deliberately. The shift in posture alone changed the room. "This meeting is over," he added. One of the partners exhaled under his breath. Another reached for his phone. The translator remained silent. The legal advisor stared at the carbon copy sheet, as if it might disappear. Ethan gathered both versions of the contract and the evidence Olivia had provided. He stacked them neatly. Controlled. Precise. Then he looked at Olivia one more time. "You are not just a witness to this," he said. "You are part of it now." Olivia did not flinch. "I was always part of it," she replied. Ethan gave a small nod. "Not agreement. Recognition." "Then you are coming with me," he said. Olivia glanced at the documents in his hand, then back at his face. "Where?" she asked. Ethan's answer came without hesitation. "To find out how deep this goes," he said. And as he turned toward the door, one question settled heavier than all the others. Because if someone inside his company could rewrite a billion-dollar contract without him knowing, then this deal was not the beginning of the problem. It was only the one that finally got caught. Ethan did not slow down as he pushed through the restaurant doors and into the corridor that led to the private elevators. Olivia kept pace beside him, her steps measured, her mind already moving ahead of the moment. Behind them, the investor's voice rose just enough to follow. "Mr. Caldwell, walking away like this will have consequences," he said. Ethan stopped at the elevator panel and pressed the button once. "So will staying," he replied. The doors slid open with a soft chime. He stepped inside without looking back. Olivia followed. The legal advisor hesitated in the hallway, then chose not to enter. That decision did not go unnoticed. As the doors closed, Ethan turned to Olivia. "You saw his face," he said. The advisor knew. Olivia nodded. "He knew enough to stay out of this elevator," she replied. The elevator began to descend. Floor numbers lit one by one. 12, 11, 10. Ethan tapped the folder lightly against his palm. "We do not have time to wait for internal explanations," he said. "If this pattern exists, it is already in other deals." Olivia watched the numbers drop. "It is," she said. "That is why I brought more than one document." Ethan glanced at her. "How many?" he asked. Olivia reached into her leather folder again and pulled out a small flash drive attached to a simple key ring. No branding. No label. Just a piece of metal and plastic that looked ordinary. She held it between her fingers. "Enough to show a pattern," she said. The elevator reached the lobby. The doors opened to the muted noise of late afternoon Manhattan traffic filtering through the glass entrance. A yellow taxi idled at the curb. A delivery driver pushed a cart stacked with boxes labeled produce from New Jersey. The normal world moved as if nothing had just shifted upstairs. Ethan stepped out and turned immediately toward the exit. "My car is outside," he said. "We go to the office." Olivia did not move yet. "If we go to your office, you alert whoever is inside this," she said. Ethan stopped. That was the first time she had pushed back on his direction. He turned slowly. "Then where?" he asked. Olivia glanced across the street. A small coffee shop sat on the corner. Not elegant, not private, but busy. "Somewhere no one expects you to sit," she said. Ethan followed her gaze. The idea landed. Not comfortable, but effective. "Fine," he said. 5 minutes. They crossed the street together. A bus passed, its brakes hissing as it pulled to the curb. Inside the coffee shop, the smell of roasted beans and warm pastries filled the air. A barista called out a name. "Mike, your latte is ready." Ethan chose a table near the window. Not hidden, not exposed. Olivia sat across from him and placed the flash drive on the table between them. It looked small against the weight of what it carried. "Before we plug that in," Ethan said, "you tell me one thing." Olivia waited. "Why now?" he asked. "You could have walked away today. No one would have known." Olivia looked at the flash drive, then back at him. "Because last time I stayed quiet, they signed it anyway," she said. Ethan held her gaze. "And this time," he said. Olivia slid the flash drive closer to him. "This time, I am not the easiest name to remove," she replied. Ethan reached for it. His phone buzzed at the same moment. He glanced at the screen. A message from his chief of operations. "Urgent. Legal review halted. Internal audit triggered." Then a second message appeared. "Unknown number." He opened it. A single line. "We know who she is." He looked up at Olivia. For the first time, the pressure was not just on the deal. It was on her. And whoever had sent that message was already one step ahead. Olivia did not touch the flash drive yet. She slid it back toward herself instead and placed her palm over it for a brief second, as if grounding the moment before it moved forward. Ethan noticed. "That message," he said, lowering his voice. "Who would know who you are?" Olivia did not answer immediately. She reached into her folder again and pulled out a thin, folded receipt. Not financial. Thermal paper. Faded at the edges. She placed it on the table and unfolded it carefully. It was a parking validation ticket from a private garage in Chicago, dated 3 years ago, the same week she had mentioned earlier. "This is where it started," she said. Ethan leaned in slightly. "A garage," he said. Olivia shook her head. "A meeting under a different name," she replied. "No boardroom. No assistants. Just signatures and silence." Ethan glanced between the receipt and the flash drive. "And you kept this?" he said. Olivia nodded. "Because it was the only place the timeline did not match," she said. Ethan frowned. "Explain that." Olivia tapped the timestamp printed on the receipt. "The contract I flagged was signed at 4:10 p.m., she said. "But I left that building at 3:32 p.m. Ethan's eyes narrowed. "So someone signed after you were gone," he said. Olivia nodded again. "Using the version I rejected," she replied. The implication settled heavily between them. This was not just manipulation. It was replacement. Ethan leaned back in his chair slightly, his fingers now resting near the flash drive, but not touching it. "You think the same thing is happening here," he said. Olivia met his gaze. "I think it never stopped," she answered. A barista passed by their table and set down a coffee at the next seat. The everyday noise continued around them, but their table had become its own closed system. Ethan's phone buzzed again. Another message. This time from his chief of security. "Unauthorized document access detected. Internal server breach flagged at 2:14 p.m. Ethan showed her the screen. Olivia studied it for a second longer than necessary. "That is not a breach," she said. "That is a cover." Ethan leaned forward. "You are certain?" he asked. Olivia nodded. If someone wanted to hide a replacement, they would trigger a false alarm to redirect attention, she said. "Make it look external. Keep the focus away from inside." Ethan exhaled slowly. "Then we are already reacting to their move," he said. Olivia's expression shifted slightly. Not fear. Recognition. "Yes," she said. "Which means we need to stop reacting." Ethan looked at her more carefully now. "You have something else?" he said. It was not a question. Olivia slid the flash drive back into the center of the table. This time she did not cover it. This is not just evidence, she said. It is a map. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Of what? He asked. Olivia leaned forward slightly. Of every contract that passed through the same pattern, she said. Same clause structure. Same timing gaps. Same internal approvals. Ethan's posture changed. Subtly, but decisively. You tracked all of that, he said. Olivia gave a small nod. After Chicago, I stopped trusting documents, she replied. I started tracking behavior. Ethan allowed a brief silence to settle. Then he reached forward and picked up the flash drive. This time he did not hesitate. If this connects to my company, he said, we are not just dealing with a bad deal. Olivia's voice remained steady. You are dealing with a system, she said. Ethan turned the flash drive in his hand once. Then he looked back at her. And systems have architects, he said. Olivia's eyes did not move. Yes, she replied. Ethan's phone buzzed one more time. He glanced down. The unknown number again. A second message appeared. Stop now, or we release everything about Chicago. Ethan slowly turned the phone toward Olivia. She read it without changing expression. Then she looked up at him. They think that is leverage, she said quietly. Ethan watched her closely. Is it? He asked. Olivia reached into her folder one last time and pulled out a sealed envelope. Thick, official, unopened. She placed it beside the flash drive. That depends, she said, on whether they know what is inside this. Ethan stared at the envelope. For the first time, the pressure shifted away from him entirely. And whatever Olivia had been preparing, it was no longer defensive. It was something they were not ready for. Olivia did not rush to open the envelope. She let it sit there between them, its weight shifting the entire conversation without a single word. Ethan reached for it, then stopped halfway. You have been carrying that around while serving tables, he said. Olivia gave a faint nod. I was waiting for the right moment, she replied. Ethan leaned back slightly, studying her again, but this time without the filter he had walked in with. Then this is the moment, he said. Olivia slid the envelope toward him. Open it, she said. The paper tore cleanly under his fingers. Inside was a certified letter. Official seal. Legal formatting. He unfolded it carefully. His eyes moved across the first lines, then stopped. This is a federal filing, he said. Olivia watched him read. Submitted 6 months ago, she added. Ethan looked up sharply. By you, he said. Olivia nodded. Quietly, she replied. Ethan read further. The language was precise. Not emotional. Not speculative. Documented evidence of contract manipulation. Internal authorization discrepancies. Pattern recognition across multiple transactions. He flipped to the last page. A list of entities under review. Caldwell Ventures was not the only name, but it was there. You reported this, he said. Olivia held his gaze. I documented it, she corrected. Ethan set the paper down slowly. And you stayed here, he said, working in a restaurant across the street from my office. Olivia gave a small breath that almost sounded like a laugh. Close enough to watch patterns repeat, she said. Ethan shook his head slightly. Not disbelief. Recalibration. You were not just waiting, he said. You were building a case. Olivia did not deny it. Cases do not move without timing, she said. Ethan tapped the document lightly. And now, he asked. Olivia's voice stayed even. Now someone inside your company accelerated the timeline, she said. Ethan's eyes narrowed. The contract today, he said. Olivia nodded. It was not just another deal, she replied. It was a trigger. Ethan leaned forward again, his attention sharpening. Trigger for what? He asked. Olivia pointed at the document. For this to move from quiet filing to active investigation, she said. Ethan's gaze dropped back to the letter. A section near the bottom caught his attention. He read it again, then slower. There is a scheduled audit, he said. Olivia watched him reach the conclusion on his own. In 72 hours, she confirmed. Ethan exhaled once. Controlled. Focused. So whoever is behind this, he said, knows the clock is already running. Olivia nodded. Which is why they reached out, she said. Ethan glanced at his phone. The message still on the screen. We know who she is. He looked back at her. They are not just warning you, he said. Olivia's expression did not change. They are trying to control what happens next, she replied. Ethan sat back. The balance had shifted again. Not toward him. Not entirely toward Olivia, but away from the people who thought they were in control. You said this is a map, he said, nodding toward the flash drive. Olivia slid it closer to him again. And now you know where it leads, she said. Ethan picked it up. This time there was no hesitation at all. If we open this, he said, we stop being observers. Olivia met his gaze. We already did that when you did not sign, she said. Ethan allowed a brief silence. Then he stood. We need a secure system, he said. Olivia rose with him. I know a place, she replied. Ethan paused, just for a fraction of a second. Of course you do, he said. They stepped out of the coffee shop together. The late afternoon light had shifted. Longer shadows. Cooler air. Across the street, a black sedan had pulled up to the curb. Engine running. Tinted windows. Not Ethan's car. He stopped. Olivia followed his line of sight. That was not there before, she said quietly. Ethan did not move closer. He did not move away. You said they want control, he said. Olivia nodded once. Ethan's voice dropped slightly. Then I think they just came to take it. The black sedan did not rush them. That was the first thing Olivia noticed. It waited. Engine idling. As if time belonged to whoever was inside. Ethan adjusted his stance slightly, not stepping forward, not stepping back. Stay here, he said quietly. Olivia did not move. No, she replied. If they came for control, they are not interested in just you. Ethan glanced at her. A brief acknowledgement. Then the rear passenger door of the sedan opened. A man stepped out. Mid-40s. Clean suit. No rush in his movement. He closed the door with a soft click and walked toward them with the ease of someone who already understood the outcome. Mr. Caldwell, he said, offering a small, polite nod. You left the meeting early. Ethan did not return the gesture. And you followed me outside a coffee shop, he replied. That is new. The man smiled faintly. Adaptation is part of business, he said. His eyes shifted briefly to Olivia. Not surprised. Not curious. Recognizing. Ms. Bennett, he added. Olivia held his gaze without responding. Ethan's voice stayed level. You have a name, he said. The man inclined his head slightly. Daniel Reeves, he said. Strategic consultant. Olivia's expression did not change, but her voice cut in. Not on any official registry tied to Caldwell Ventures, she said. Reeves smiled again. You have been doing your homework, he replied. Ethan stepped slightly forward now, placing himself just ahead of Olivia without making it obvious. Let us skip the introductions, he said. You altered my contract. Reeves did not deny it. He simply adjusted his cuff. A small, precise movement. I optimized an opportunity, he said. Ethan's jaw tightened just enough to show the shift. You tried to take my company, he said. Reeves tilted his head. Language matters, he replied. Control is not taken. It is transferred. Olivia stepped forward this time, aligning beside Ethan instead of behind him. Not when it is hidden, she said. Reeves looked at her fully now. You always had a way of seeing structure where others saw detail, he said. Ethan's eyes moved between them. You know him, he said. Olivia did not look away from Reeves. Chicago, she said. Reeves gave a small nod. You left before the conclusion, he said. Olivia's voice stayed calm. I refused to sign, she corrected. Reeves's smile thinned slightly. And yet the deal closed, he said. Ethan's understanding sharpened. You replaced her, he said. Reeves did not answer directly. Business does not wait for hesitation, he replied. The pressure shifted again. This was no longer hidden. It was confirmed. Ethan took one step closer. You are inside my company, he said. Reeves's expression remained composed. I am wherever value is created, he said. Olivia's hand moved slightly, resting near her folder but not opening it. And wherever it can be redirected, she added. Reeves's eyes flickered once. That was the first crack. Small, but real. Ethan caught it. You came out here to threaten us, he said. Reeves shook his head gently. No, he replied. I came to simplify things. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a slim tablet. He tapped the screen once and turned it toward them. A document appeared. Headlines. Legal language. A prepared statement. Ethan read the first line. Internal compliance breach. Unauthorized document handling. He looked up. You are setting her up, he said. Reeves's tone remained calm. She inserted herself into a protected transaction, he said. That creates liability. Olivia did not react outwardly, but her voice cut through cleanly. You are early, she said. Reeves paused for the first time. Early, he repeated. Olivia nodded once. You moved before the audit window, she said. Which means you are not as in control as you want him to believe. Ethan turned slightly toward her. That was new. That was not defense. That was timing. Reeves studied her more carefully now. The confidence did not disappear, but it adjusted. You think you understand the timeline, he said. Olivia met his gaze. I know you accelerated it, she replied. Ethan stepped in again. And that was your mistake, he said. Reeves looked between them. The balance had shifted again. Not completely, but enough to change the next move. He lowered the tablet slightly. Then I suppose we will all find out soon, he said. He stepped back toward the sedan. The door opened before he reached it. As he got in, he paused just long enough to add one last line. You should check your internal servers again, he said. The door closed. The sedan pulled away smoothly into traffic. Ethan stood still for a moment. Then he turned to Olivia. What did he just do, he asked. Olivia opened her folder slowly this time. Inside, beneath the documents, a second flash drive rested. Smaller. Unmarked. He just activated something, she said. Ethan's eyes fixed on it. Olivia looked back at him. And I have been waiting for that exact moment. Olivia did not explain immediately. She closed the folder halfway, leaving the second flash drive visible but not accessible. That alone forced Ethan to pause instead of act. You said he activated something, Ethan said. What exactly? Olivia turned and started walking. Not back toward the restaurant, but down the block, away from the main street where traffic noise softened into a steady hum. Follow me, she said. Ethan did not argue this time. That was the first shift. They moved past a row of brownstones, past a dry cleaner with a flickering neon sign, and stopped in front of a narrow co-working space with a simple glass door and a keypad entry. Olivia punched in a code without hesitation. The door unlocked with a soft click. Ethan raised an eyebrow. You have been busy, he said. Olivia stepped inside. I have been careful, she replied. The space inside was quiet. Minimal. A few desks. A printer. A wall of lockers. Nothing personal. Nothing traceable. Olivia moved directly to one of the lockers and opened it with a small key from her apron pocket. Inside sat a slim laptop, already powered off, along with a portable hotspot device and a sealed envelope identical to the one she had shown earlier. Ethan watched closely now, not questioning, observing. Olivia placed the laptop on the desk and powered it on. If Reeves triggered internal access, she said, then your system is already compromised. Ethan stepped closer. Then why are we not shutting it down? He asked. Olivia connected the hotspot device and waited for the signal to stabilize. Because shutting it down tells him we noticed, she said. Ethan understood immediately. So we let it run, he said. Olivia nodded. We let him think he is still in control, she replied. The laptop screen lit up fully. A clean desktop. No personal files. No identifiers. Olivia inserted the first flash drive. Files appeared instantly. Organized. Categorized. Contracts. Dates. Approval chains. Ethan leaned in, scanning quickly. This is not just my company, he said. Olivia clicked into a folder labeled Pattern Sequence. A timeline appeared. Transactions mapped across months. Then years. Each one marked with subtle inconsistencies. Timing gaps. Signature overlaps. Clause substitutions. He is not stealing companies, Olivia said. He is rewriting ownership structures before anyone realizes it. Ethan exhaled slowly. And no one notices because the numbers still look right, he said. Olivia glanced at him. Exactly, she replied. Ethan straightened slightly. Then what is the second drive for, he asked. Olivia reached into the folder again and finally picked it up. She held it for a second longer this time. Not hesitation. Timing. Then she plugged it into the laptop. The screen changed. A live feed opened. Lines of code. Access logs. Real-time activity. Ethan frowned. That is my system, he said. Olivia nodded. Mirrored, she replied. I set it up the moment you walked out of that meeting. Ethan looked at her sharply. You were already inside, he said. Olivia met his gaze. I needed to know how fast he would react, she said. Ethan's expression shifted again. Not suspicion. Recognition of strategy. And now we know, he said. Olivia pointed at the screen. A new line appeared. Unauthorized file duplication. Timestamped less than 30 seconds ago. Ethan read it. He is pulling documents right now, he said. Olivia nodded once. He thinks he is cleaning the trail, she said. Ethan's voice lowered. But he is actually showing us where it leads, he added. Olivia allowed the smallest hint of a smile. Now you are thinking ahead, she said. Ethan watched the data stream update in real time. Each access point. Each file touched. Each internal account used. Names began to appear. Not just Reeves. Not just one advisor. Multiple entries. Different departments. Different roles. A network. Ethan's hand rested on the edge of the desk. Steady. Focused. This is bigger than one deal, he said. Olivia did not respond. She was already opening a new window. A recording interface. We do not stop him, she said. We let him finish. Ethan looked at her. And then, he asked. Olivia pressed a single key. The system began capturing everything. Every move. Every file. Every access path. She finally answered. Then we closed the trap, she said. And on the screen, a new name appeared in the access log. One Ethan recognized instantly. Because it was not just someone inside his company. It was someone who had been sitting at his table for years without him ever questioning why. The name on the screen did not belong to a stranger. Ethan leaned closer, his eyes narrowing as the system refreshed again and confirmed it. No, he said under his breath. That cannot be right. Olivia did not interrupt. She let him read it twice. Then a third time. The access log did not change. Same name. Same internal credentials. Same timestamp. Say it, Olivia said quietly. Ethan exhaled once. Controlled. Michael Grant, he said. Chief Legal Officer. The room seemed smaller. Suddenly. Not physically. Strategically. Olivia clicked into the access thread linked to the name. A cascade of actions unfolded. Document retrieval. Clause revisions. Approval overrides. Each one mapped to dates that aligned with the pattern she had already shown him. He is not just approving deals, Ethan said. Olivia shook her head. He is shaping them, she replied. Ethan stepped back slightly, processing faster now. He has been in every high-value transaction for the last 2 years, he said. Olivia opened another tab. A list appeared. Contracts flagged by value. 800 million. 900 million. 1.4 billion. Each one connected by the same approval chain. Each one touched by the same internal account. And no one questioned it, Ethan said. Olivia's voice stayed even. Because legally, everything still looked compliant, she replied. Ethan turned back to the screen. Until now, he said. Olivia nodded. Until he had to move faster, she said. Ethan's phone buzzed again. This time he did not ignore it. He looked down. A message from Michael Grant himself. We need to talk. Urgent. Ethan showed her the screen. Olivia did not look surprised. He knows something shifted, she said. Ethan looked back at the access log. Another update appeared. A file labeled Archive Override Initiated. He is not just pulling documents, Ethan said. He is erasing them. Olivia leaned forward and opened the file path. Not all of them, she said. The system displayed a duplication process running in parallel. Hidden. Masked under a secondary protocol. Ethan frowned. What is that? He asked. Olivia pointed to the code structure. A mirror extraction, she said. He is copying before deleting. Ethan understood immediately. Insurance, he said. Olivia nodded. For leverage, she replied. The stakes shifted again. This was no longer just about exposure. It was about control of information. Ethan straightened. If he walks away with that data, he controls the narrative, he said. Olivia did not argue. Which is why we do not stop the extraction, she said. Ethan looked at her sharply. We let him take it, he said. Olivia met his gaze. We let him think he has it, she corrected. Ethan paused. Then he nodded slowly. You embedded something, he said. Olivia's eyes did not move. A trace, she replied. Ethan's focus sharpened again. So wherever he takes it, he said. Olivia finished the thought. We follow, she said. The system updated again. Extraction complete. Transfer initiated. A destination path appeared briefly before being masked. But not fast enough. Olivia captured it with a single keystroke. A location. External server. Registered under a shell entity. Ethan read it. That is not even in the United States, he said. Olivia nodded. It does not need to be, she replied. Ethan stepped back from the desk. The shape of the problem was no longer abstract. It had a face, a name, a system, and now a destination. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Michael Grant. Where are you? We need to fix this before it escalates. Ethan looked at the screen. Then at Olivia. He still thinks this is contained, he said. Olivia closed the laptop halfway, leaving the system running. Then let him think that, she replied. Ethan picked up his phone slowly. His tone shifted. Not reactive. Decisive. We are going back, he said. Olivia did not ask where. She already knew. Ethan's eyes held a different clarity now. If he wants to talk, he added, we are going to let him. Olivia reached for her folder and closed it completely this time. And this time, she said, we control the conversation. Ethan turned toward the door. The next move was no longer about discovery. It was about confrontation. And for the first time since this began, the person who thought he was orchestrating everything was about to walk into a room where every word he said would already be anticipated. The elevator doors opened directly into the executive floor, and everything felt exactly the same as it had an hour ago. Clean glass, quiet carpet, assistants moving with controlled urgency. The illusion of order remained intact. Ethan stepped out first, his pace steady, his expression unreadable. Olivia followed half a step behind, her folder held close, her eyes scanning details that most people would ignore. A receptionist looked up. Mr. Caldwell, Mr. Grant is waiting in your office, she said. Ethan nodded once. Of course he is, he replied. He did not break stride. The office door was already open. Michael Grant stood near the window, his back partially turned, phone in hand. He looked up as they entered, his expression composed but tighter than usual. Ethan, he said, lowering the phone. We need to address this immediately. His eyes shifted to Olivia. Recognition, not surprise. And, you brought her, he added. Ethan closed the door behind them. A soft click. Final. Yes, he said. I thought it would save time. Michael gave a thin smile. I assume there has been some misunderstanding, he said. Olivia stepped forward before Ethan responded. There was, she said. Until about 40 minutes ago. Michael's gaze settled on her. You inserted yourself into a confidential transaction, he said. That creates liability you do not fully understand. Olivia did not raise her voice. I understand enough to know you rewrote the clause, she replied. Michael shook his head slightly. That is an accusation, he said. Ethan moved to his desk and placed the printed documents down. Both versions, side by side. Then he added the carbon copy sheet. Then the federal filing. He did not rush. He did not explain. He simply arranged the truth in a straight line. Walk me through this, Ethan said. Michael glanced at the documents. His eyes moved quickly at first, then slower. He picked up the carbon copy sheet. His fingers paused, just for a fraction of a second. That was enough. Ethan saw it. Olivia saw it. The room shifted. These are incomplete materials, Michael said, placing the sheet down carefully. You cannot draw conclusions from partial data. Olivia stepped closer to the desk and opened her folder again. This time she removed a printed log. Fresh, pulled from the system minutes earlier. She placed it on top of the stack. Then let us complete it, she said. Ethan looked at the page. Then at Michael. Read the timestamp, he said. Michael's eyes moved to the log. Unauthorized archive override. Internal account access. File duplication. External transfer path. His name attached to every action. The silence that followed was different from before. Not tension. Exposure. Michael set the paper down slowly. This is fabricated, he said. His tone remained controlled, but the edges had sharpened. Olivia reached into her folder one last time and placed a small device on the desk. A portable authentication key, still warm from recent use. This is the access token used for the override, she said. It matches your credentials. Michael did not touch it. Ethan did. He turned it over in his hand, examining the serial number etched along the side. This is issued only to senior legal authority, he said. Michael's voice dropped slightly. Ethan, you are making a mistake, he said. You are letting an outsider manipulate internal data. Olivia did not react to the word outsider. She simply pressed one key on the laptop she had brought with her. The screen lit up on Ethan's desk. Live feed. The same extraction path. The same external server. Still active. Still traceable. He is not done, she said. Ethan looked at the screen. Then at Michael. But you are, he replied. The balance broke. Completely. Michael's composure held for one more second. Then it shifted. Not panic. Calculation. You think this ends here, he said quietly. Olivia met his gaze. No, she said. This is where it finally becomes visible. Ethan stepped forward. You built a system inside my company, he said. Michael did not deny it this time. He simply adjusted his stance. I built efficiency, he replied. Ethan's voice stayed level. You built control without consent, he said. Olivia added one final document to the table. A printed confirmation from the federal filing. Audit initiation. 72-hour window. And now you have less than that, she said. Michael looked at it. Really looked this time. The weight of it settled in. Not a threat. A clock. Ethan straightened. You are not going anywhere, he said. Michael gave a faint, almost tired smile. You are assuming I need to, he replied. Ethan's eyes narrowed. Explain that, he said. Michael glanced at the laptop screen one last time. Then back at them. Because the data you think you captured, he said, is already somewhere you cannot reach. Olivia did not blink. She already expected that answer. But Ethan did not. Not yet. And that was the moment the next question became unavoidable. Because if Michael was right, then this was not just about stopping him. It was about finding out who he had already handed everything to. Ethan did not respond immediately. The room held its shape, but something inside him shifted in a way that had nothing to do with contracts or control. Michael's words echoed, but they were no longer the loudest thing in his mind. A different memory surfaced, uninvited, sharp and unfinished. 3 years earlier. Same office. Same desk. A younger associate stood across from him, holding a report with both hands, her voice steady but urgent. There is something wrong with the clause, she had said. Ethan had not looked up right away. He had been signing another deal. Another number. Another win. Legal reviewed it. He replied without lifting his eyes. We are moving forward. The associate hesitated. Sir, I think you should take a closer look. Ethan finally glanced up, impatience already in his expression. That is what I pay my legal team for, he said. We are done here. The report stayed on his desk for less than 10 seconds before it was moved aside. The deal closed 2 days later. He never asked what she saw. He never asked what it cost her to speak up. Back in the present, Ethan's hand rested on the edge of the desk, but his grip was no longer steady. His fingers tightened, then loosened. A small crack in control. Olivia noticed it. She did not speak. She waited. Ethan looked down at the documents again. The carbon copy. The federal filing. The access log with Michael's name repeated in cold precision. Then he looked at Olivia. Really looked this time. Not as a variable in a problem. Not as a witness. As someone who had already paid the price for being right too early. His voice lowered. Chicago, he said quietly. Olivia did not respond immediately. You tried to stop it, he added. She gave a small nod. I did, she said. Ethan swallowed once. The motion was subtle, but it carried weight. And someone decided it was easier to remove you than fix the deal, he said. Olivia's eyes did not leave his. That is how it works, she replied. Ethan looked away for the first time. Not to escape. To process. The memory pressed harder now. The associate's face. The report. The moment he chose speed over scrutiny. His jaw tightened slightly. Then something in his posture shifted. Not authority. Accountability. He reached for his phone. His hand was steady at first, then paused just above the screen. A hesitation that had nothing to do with strategy. Everything to do with consequence. Olivia watched him. Silent. Ethan exhaled slowly. Then he tapped a name in his contacts. The phone rang once. Twice. A voice answered on the other end. This is Claire. Ethan closed his eyes for a brief second. The past and present aligned in a way he could not ignore anymore. Claire, he said, his voice quieter than it had been all day. It is Ethan Caldwell. A pause. Not long, but enough to carry meaning. I remember, the voice replied. Calm. Distant. Ethan's grip tightened slightly around the phone. I should have listened to you, he said. The words did not come easily. They did not sound like him. That was the point. Back then, you were right. Silence on the line. Then a breath. What is this about? Claire asked. Ethan opened his eyes and looked at the documents again. Then at Olivia. I need your help, he said. His voice carried something new now. Not control. Not command. Something closer to honesty. There is a system inside my company. The same pattern you tried to stop. It is happening again. Another pause. Longer this time. Ethan did not rush it. He did not fill it. He waited. Across the desk, Michael watched the call unfold, his expression unreadable, but his stillness sharper now. Olivia stood beside Ethan, her presence steady, but her eyes watching everything. Claire finally spoke again. You are asking me to come back, she said. Ethan's hand trembled just slightly, barely visible, but real. I am asking you to help me fix what I ignored, he said. A quiet breath came through the phone, then a single sentence. Send me everything. Ethan nodded, even though she could not see him. I will, he said. The call ended. Ethan lowered the phone slowly. The room felt different now. Not resolved. Not safe. But honest in a way it had not been before. Olivia studied him for a moment. Then she spoke. That changes things, she said. Ethan met her gaze. It has to, he replied. Behind them, Michael finally moved again. A small shift. A recalculation. Because whatever control he thought he had, it was now facing something he had not accounted for, and the next move would not come from him. The office door did not open gently. It burst inward with a force that shattered the stillness Michael had been holding on to. Dad. The voice cut through everything. Ethan turned instinctively. A young woman stood in the doorway, her breath uneven, her coat half slipped off one shoulder, as if she had run the entire way from the elevator. Claire. Not a voice on the phone. Not a memory. Real. Present. Her eyes found his instantly, and whatever distance had existed for 3 years collapsed in a single second. I came as fast as I could, she said, stepping forward without waiting for permission. Ethan did not move at first. Then something in him gave way. He stepped toward her, slower than she moved toward him, until the space between them disappeared. Claire closed it completely. Her arms wrapped around him with a force that was not controlled, not measured, but desperate and real. Ethan's hands hovered for a fraction of a second before they settled around her shoulders, pulling her closer, holding tighter than he had allowed himself to in years. I should have listened, he said into her hair, his voice breaking in a way no one in that room had ever heard before. Claire's grip tightened. You are listening now, she replied, her voice trembling but steady enough to carry forgiveness. Ethan closed his eyes. For a moment, everything else disappeared. The contracts, the system, the threat, all of it fell behind the weight of that moment. A single tear escaped before he could stop it, tracing down the side of his face as his hand pressed gently against her back, as if making sure she was real. Olivia stood a few feet away, watching without interrupting. She did not step forward. She did not speak. She simply allowed the moment to exist, knowing exactly what it cost to reach it. Michael remained near the window, still, but no longer in control of the room. That had shifted completely. Ethan pulled back slightly, just enough to look at Claire. His hands remained on her shoulders. They did it again, he said, his voice steadier now, but still carrying the weight of everything unsaid. Claire nodded once. I know, she replied. You sin enough for me to see the pattern. Ethan glanced briefly at Olivia, then back at Claire. She saw it first, he said. Claire's eyes moved to Olivia. For a moment, they simply looked at each other. Recognition passed between them, not of faces, of experience. Claire stepped forward and extended her hand. Thank you, she said. Olivia took it. Firm. Equal. You already tried to stop it, Olivia replied. Claire gave a faint, knowing smile. This time, she said, we finish it. Ethan exhaled slowly. The weight in the room had changed. It was no longer about exposure alone. It was about resolution. He turned back toward the desk. The documents were still there. The evidence. The truth. But now he was not standing alone in front of it. Claire moved beside him. Olivia stood just behind. Michael remained where he was, but the distance between them had never felt greater. Ethan looked at him one last time. Not with anger. Not with hesitation. With clarity. It is over, he said. Claire placed her hand lightly over Ethan's. A simple gesture. Steady. Grounding. No, she said softly. It is just finally being told the right way. Ethan nodded. And for the first time since this began, the silence that followed did not feel like tension. It felt like something being put back where it always should have been.